When checking out at companies, you may have seen something around your checkout button that gives you the option to check out with payments. A lot of the newer sites or apps are giving you the option to make your purchase now, but pay for it later. Now, is this something that could be good for your budget, or is it another way for us to go broke? I'll let you make that decision. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about companies like Klarna, Sezzle, Afterpay, Affirm, all companies that you may have heard of that like to advertise a 0% for you to get what you want up front and pay for it later. But the thing is what if you don't have the money later on to pay for the item that you're purchasing now? These companies typically advertise making your payment in 4 installments over the course of 6 or 8 weeks. And they advertise putting your everyday purchases on a payment plan. A lot of the companies also advertise things like no impact to your credit. But I've read some of the fine print on these websites just to give you more information before you try them out, so you have the full picture of what you're actually signing up for. Now, you may have seen this viral post going around lately where this individual is talking about how they have split up the cost of their box combo at Raising Cane's in order to pay for it in 4 installments. And they're getting excited because they almost have it paid in full. Now, that is something that some of these companies advertise, is putting your everyday purchases on a payment plan. But that stuff can really add up. Let's say you actually decide to finance your everyday purchases. And yes, you are financing these purchases, regardless if you are paying interest or not. The definition of finance is someone providing funding for you to purchase something, essentially loaning money, someone loaning you the money and you paying them back later. And that's what you're doing. If you're purchasing something and you're not paying it in full, that means someone is loaning you that money to pay for it. Klarna or Affirm or Afterpay is paying the merchant upfront for you, and then you are paying back Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay, whoever. So with us financing our everyday purchases, the thing is that if you're financing an everyday purchase or even just one purchase every single day, by the time of the end of the week, you have 7 new payment plans that you are now on that you have to pay every 2 weeks. And it's taking money from your future self. Whatever you end up wanting to buy in the future, you now have less money than you really thought you did because you have these payment plans that are going to be due. So I'm going to go over each of these companies and let you know some of the fine print of what you're actually responsible for whenever you sign up with these companies. Now, Klarna advertises not having to pay interest and no fees, but the thing is, it's until you fail to make a payment. If your payment is late or if you fail to make a payment, you could have a late fee of up to $7. So the kicker with these websites is that if you don't end up paying them, they're going to do what they have to do to get their money. Keep that in mind. With Klarna specifically, they let you know any missed payments and unpaid debts are sent to debt collection. If you don't know, debt collection could end up on your credit report. So with the individual with the box combo, let's say they forgot to make a payment. Let's say they missed those reminders. Is it really worth damaging your credit over an $8 box combo? I can't even check out with my groceries without getting some type of advertisement or some type of message asking me if I want to split my grocery purchase into 4 payments. I can understand if this was an absolute emergency where you just do not have the funds and you just need to pay for groceries. The thing is that Instacart is not a necessity. It's really a privilege or a luxury. So mind you, this person who's shopping on Instacart, they're not even in a dire need to be purchasing these groceries. They could go in person and pay less and not pay a tip and not pay service fees, etc., etc. But then on top of that, you're suggesting that they split their grocery payment into 4 payments instead of just paying for their groceries in full. So if I'm in a situation where I need to finance my groceries and split them into 4 payments, what happens next week? Next week I have to pay my groceries in full, plus one of my 4 payments to pay for my groceries that I financed last week. So what happens the second week when I can't pay my groceries? Let me know what you think. So moving on to Affirm. So with Affirm, they let you know that creating an account and seeing if you pre-qualify will not affect your credit score. But if you decide to buy with Affirm, these things may affect your credit score. Making a purchase with Affirm, your payment history with Affirm, and how much credit you've used and how long you've had credit they're going to be reporting this to your credit bureau, period. Now with Affirm, they don't charge fees, but depending on the size of your purchase and where you're shopping, your payment plan may include interest. Now, if you wonder what happens if you miss a payment with Affirm, they don't charge fees, but partial payments or late payments may hurt your credit score or your chance of getting another loan with them. So now moving on to Afterpay. This is one that I don't see advertised as much as Klarna and Affirm, but it's still one that's pretty popular. They advertise as a free service. Afterpay is another one that does charge late fees. One thing I noticed with at least two of these companies is that if you do the upfront and your payment is lower, such as the 8-week or the 6-week, they usually won't charge interest. But if you do the 6-month or 12 months and you're spreading your payment out over the course of 12 months, which most people are going to need to do if it's a larger payment or a larger item that you're buying, because it sounds like they work with a lot of different merchants. They advertise like furniture, couches, things like that. Most of the time, people can't pay these things off in 8 weeks. They have to spread it out if it's like a purchase of like $2,000, $1,500, $1,000. So if you're spending out over the course of like 12 months, you are having an interest rate of at least like 10%. It really depends on your credit. With the longer payment periods, you are definitely paying interest. You're not going to be qualifying for the 0%, is what they talk about here in the fine print. Now, lastly, Sezzle, however you say it, that one is one that I've heard of before, but I was surprised to see how many fees that they charge. They actually advertise about how you're going to be helping yourself build your credit. Of course, that's only if you're making your payments on time, you don't miss a payment, credit utilization, all of that. So that's what they advertise. They're not doing this as something that's like, hey, it won't impact your credit. They're letting you know straight up, this is going to impact your credit. If you do well with that, it can help build your credit, but things happen. With Sezzle, a down payment may be required for purchases that you make with them. As you can see here in their frequently asked questions, it is possible that you could get charged fees for multiple things, such as reactivation fees, rescheduling a payment fee, convenience fee for paying with a debit card or credit card, fee is what I'm hearing. That's a lot of the fine print for all of these companies. The main thing that is very common with what they advertise, they want to make it easy for you to spend money with them. Some of these companies have reward programs that they're incorporating into their business. The main thing they really advertise is getting what you need upfront, financing it, and then paying it back later. When we do things like that, we're assuming that in the future we're going to have that money to pay back the company. And if you don't, it can impact your credit score just like any other loan provider could possibly end up reporting to the credit bureau. These companies can do it too. If you want my opinion on these things, I would stay far away from them. It's an annoyance to me when I'm trying to check out with my groceries and they're asking me to split into 4 payments. It's ridiculous. That's really just the first step in spending money that you don't have. It feels so much better to save up for a purchase and pay for it in full. Even if you're someone who, like us, we save up for a purchase and we put it on a credit card for the cash back, don't carry a balance, we pay that balance in full. This is going to go over a lot of people's heads, but on our channel with us talking about how we're able to pay so much on our mortgage each month, the reason we do that is because we lower our expenses, and lowering your expenses is really just not creating new bills for yourself. And that's exactly what these things are doing. You are getting your purchase up front, paying for it later. If we had all these types of payments, and I'm saying all of these payments because it really adds up, financing your everyday purchase, it might seem like $5 here and $10 there up front, but it really adds up. And there's people who finance a lot of things and they're creating bills for themselves. We don't have to worry about having all these different payments going here, going there, going here, because we started by paying off all of our consumer debt and then lowering our expenses, not buying things we don't need, and definitely not investing in these buy now, pay later systems. It's just another way that's predatory. They're preying on us. They want us to buy these things knowing that we don't need them, or we can at least wait until we pay for it in full. If you can't buy an everyday purchase up front, there needs to be some recalculations of the budget. We need to look at our system and figure out what's not working as to why we can't buy a box combo in full and pay for it upfront, period. So just to recap, yes, there are these things out here like Klarna, Affirm, all of these companies that allow you to buy things up front. They loan you the money to pay for things, but is it really getting you closer to financial freedom and financial success, or is it getting you further away from it? Creating another payment for yourself, in my opinion, is not something that's helping you, it's hurting you. I know with us personally, if we had a bunch of payments out there and created all these bills for ourselves, it would not be helping us get closer to our ultimate goal of paying off this house. Let me know how you feel though. Obviously, it's personal finance. Everyone does what works for them. Comment down below and let me know what you think about these buy now, pay later, without the fees, with the fees, without interest, with interest. Let me know down below how you guys feel about it. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video.